They thought your quiet was defeat. They thought the stillness meant surrender. But silence was never your weakness. It was your training ground. While they filled rooms with noise, you learned how to command them without a word. You stopped defending yourself because truth doesn't argue, it waits. You waited. You watched. You built. The silence didn't shrink you, it sharpened you. Every lonely night, every unanswered prayer, every moment you felt unseen, that was conditioning. The kind of discipline noise could never teach. You don't speak to be heard anymore. You speak to shift atmospheres. Your voice doesn't beg for attention, it demands presence. You learn that power doesn't perform, it projects. You don't need validation when your energy makes cowards confess they think you're cold, but really you just stopped explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped sharing your plans with people who prayed you'd fail. Now when you walk into a room, they feel it before they see it. That calm, that control, that quiet thunder in your chest. That's not arrogance, that's accuracy. You know who you are now. You know what you carry. And you're not afraid to let silence speak for you. Because silence, when mastered, becomes its own storm. And when you open your mouth now, it isn't just a voice they hear. It's every battle you survived, finally learning how to roar. They thought you disappeared, but you were just recalibrating. While they performed for attention, you were perfecting precision. You learned to sit in stillness until silence became your weapon. You didn't vanish, you evolved. Now your calm rattles people louder than your chaos ever did. You don't chase spotlight anymore, you own shadow. Because once you learn how to move in the dark, no light can blind you again. That's the secret. You didn't lose your voice, you redirected it. You speak less now, but when you do, every word lands like a verdict. Every sentence drips with evidence. You don't talk to prove your worth, you speak to confirm it. They used to interrupt you, now they can't even breathe when you start. That's what happens when silence graduates into authority. You don't beg for peace anymore, you command it. Your presence is the pause between storms, the kind that warns before it strikes. And when you finally decide to speak, it's not volume that makes them listen. It's the vibration of truth that rattles their comfort. Because the silence didn't break you, it baptized you. It taught you rhythm, timing, restraint, and now when you speak, it's not conversation, it's consequence. You used to shout into the void, begging to be heard. Now you don't say a word. Yet the whole room listens. That's what silence taught you. It rewired your presence. It taught you how to make people feel you before they ever understand you. You used to fill every pause with explanations. Now you let the pause do the work. You don't rush to prove your innocence or intentions anymore. You let time expose what your words never needed to. That's power. Measured, quiet, absolute. The silence didn't just train your voice, it trained your vision. You see the game now. Who hides behind kindness? Who weaponizes empathy? Who calls you distant because they can't manipulate you anymore? Silence made you fluent in patterns. Now you move like you've read every script before it's written. You don't owe the world noise. You owe it precision. You speak only when it matters, and when you do, it's thunder. Not the wild kind that destroys, but the kind that warns, that clears the air, that shakes bones. So no, silence didn't make you soft. It made you surgical. You're not quieter because you lost your voice. You're quieter because you mastered your frequency. And now when you choose to speak, the world stops pretending not to hear. They mistake your silence for peace, but it's really power under control. You're not quiet because you're calm. You're quiet because you're calculating. Every second of stillness is you reloading. Every pause is precision disguised as patience. You don't argue anymore. You don't explain. You've learned that silence humiliates louder than words ever could. When you stopped responding, their masks slipped. Their lies got louder. You let them reveal themselves without ever lifting a finger. That's how silence wins. It doesn't fight, it exposes. They can't read you now, and that's what scares them most. You used to be transparent, accessible, predictable, but the silence built layers around you, ones no one gets to enter without earning it. You used to open doors for everyone. Now you keep gates. And the key? It's not trust anymore. It's proof. You became a storm disguised as serenity. You don't raise your tone, you raise awareness. You don't warn people. You let consequences speak. That's not distance, that's discipline. You stop teaching lessons that life is now teaching for you. And that's the secret the world never tells you. Silence isn't absence, it's evolution. The quiet ones aren't lost, they're loading. The moment they finally decide to speak again, the ground doesn't just shake, it remembers. You don't even flinch when they test your limits anymore. You've outgrown the need to prove you're unbreakable. You've already been broken, rebuilt, and upgraded. That's why their noise doesn't move you. It sounds like echoes in a room you left years ago. Silence taught you timing. It taught you that patience isn't weakness, it's warfare with better aim. You wait now, not because you're afraid to act, but because you know when you do it counts. You've mastered restraint, and that's the one thing the loud can't compete with. They don't understand how calm can be lethal. They think peace means passive until you move once and everything shifts. That's the kind of power that can't be faked. The kind that comes from endurance, not ego. You don't warn people anymore. You don't post cryptic messages. You just adjust your energy and watch what falls off. You don't argue. You exit. You don't clap back. You cut ties. That's not bitterness, that's balance. Because silence didn't make you softer. It made you surgical. You learned that your voice isn't meant for everyone, and your energy isn't free. You speak when it's sacred, and when you do, it's not just thunder anymore. It's truth with a kill switch. You don't even try to be understood anymore. Understanding is a luxury for people who've earned access, and most haven't. You're done translating yourself to minds that only listen to noise. You've seen how people misuse your words, so now you let silence do the talking. It never gets misquoted. You move like water now, calm, adaptable, but impossible to hold. You used to chase connection. Now you study it. You see the difference between interest and intention, between attention and loyalty. You don't fall for presence anymore. You watch patterns. They say you've changed, but you just stopped bleeding for the unworthy. You stopped auditioning for parts in lives that never deserved your depth. Silence showed you who stayed when there was nothing to gain. It also showed you who only loved the sound of your struggle. Now your boundaries are built from observation. You don't block people, you let the distance expose them. You don't react, you let energy reveal who's real. You don't announce your growth, you embody it. That's what silence does. It matures you beyond conversation. And the beauty of it, you don't even crave being seen anymore. You crave being aligned. You crave rooms that don't require performance. You crave peace so pure it feels like power. Because after mastering silence, you realize the truth. The loudest thing about you now is the life you live quietly. Like, comment, and subscribe.